David Grasso here live at SALT with Harold Ford, former Congressman from Tennessee. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Thank you so much for making the time for us.
Thanks for having me.
So you've seen a lot of young faces here, right?
It's a good thing.
To think I'm young.
You are.
Right? Yeah.
You are, and your whole team.
So we're talking here about investments and the importance of the private sector in the economy. Why is it important for young people to have buy-in to all these discussions?
So I think two reasons why I think this conference for any age group is particularly good, but I think it's even more so for millennials and young investors and young business people. First, it gives everyone a chance to come together, meet and talk. Anthony does a great job, if not one of the better jobs of all conference setters across the country, in being a forecaster and looking at trends 5, 10, 15 years down the line. So you're able to reinforce that with young energy, young millennial energy, and smart energy. Two, he has some of the more fascinating political conversations. And he, I hope, is teaching older people, but particularly younger people, that just because you sit on the Democratic side or the Republican side, we've got to not only find ways to talk to one another, but we've got to find ways to reach solutions together. And I watched a panel this morning with Valerie Jarrett and Anthony talking about the Trump and Obama administrations and comparing their strengths and their weaknesses. And the room was packed. I'd say half the room were probably people under 35, which I think is important for them to see that politics just is not about screaming at one another or believing your point is right, my point is wrong, therefore I'm a bad person. So politically, I think that's smart. And on the business side, finally, on the investing side in particular, he brings some of the smartest, whatever their age may be, investors to the fold, and gives people an opportunity to see, approach, and access them, and more importantly, understand their thinking going forward, whether it's investing in the cannabis space, whether it's investing in new technologies, whether it's investing in new currencies, or I should say currency exchanges, Bitcoin and blockchain. So it's been interesting for me to not only listen to him and some of the older guys, but listen to some of these younger folks who are out leading in these spaces.
So a little bit has changed since you were in Congress.
Just
now
a bit.
There's a just a eensy weensy bit. A lot of the talk is about socialism versus capitalism now.
Right.
That's the big conversation. There's a lot of skepticism of capitalism, honestly, on both sides now. Back in your day, that was more or less settled, that people believed in capitalism. Where do you think that conversation is going?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's bad to have. I'm a capitalist, and I think that we've got to reimagine and reinvent capitalism because the country's facing strains and tears. And I think the greatest threat to the fabric of the country is the imbalances in how income and opportunity are dispersed. Our public education system, for a long time, every politician cites education as his or her top issue, but we've given a lot more rhetoric and a lot more verbosity to it than we have any action. So I'm not surprised that we're at this moment. Donald Trump's success in 2016 can easily be drawn, or easily you can trace to the fact that people were really upset about the dislocations in their own neighborhoods, communities, and those dislocations are just fancy words for job losses and wage losses. Now, the economy is on a little bit of a tear right now, and the numbers bear some of that in terms of unemployment and wages going up. But the reality is, you have an overwhelming majority of American households that could not afford a $5,000 jolt or a $5,000 loss per month. It would really not only upset their household income, but could really sort of upset their yearly projections. Something's wrong with that, especially when you look at the amount of wealth that exists at the highest levels in our economy and the highest levels across the country. So I'm not surprised by the conversation. I hope we have a real, serious, legitimate, energized debate around it. I don't think Medicare for All and the Clean New Deal or the Green New Deal are the answers, but I think it's important for those of us who have differences with those policies, we've got to offer better ones. We've got to offer ones that are more appealing without just saying you're a socialist and without engaging in a name calling. Both sides are unfortunately enormously guilty of.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me,
Thanks,
Congressman.
brother. Absolutely. Congrats on Bold.
Oh, thank you.